Learning is Nishmas Ahuva Basakim. Maseches Gitin Perik Gimel Mishna Ches. Haminiach Peiris Lias Mafish Aleim Trumas Omaisus Mois Lias Mafish Aleim Maiser Sheni. If a person separated fruits in order to be mafish from those fruits, his trumas or maises, or money to be mafish from them, maiser sheni. So the question is now, when he's actually being mafish, he's not next to these peiros or not next to these money. So could he assume that they're still around or not? So the Mishnah mafish aleim b'cheska sheikayamu. Since they were around before, so the chazaka, we assume that they are around still now. Taisus asked the question that you're not supposed to be mafresh Shloimie amukif. In other words, you have to be mafresh from one peiros that's touching the other peiros. And over here, he's obviously not even near the peiros. So how could we mafresh Shloimie hamukif? So Taisus says that we're talking about Erev Shabbos and Erev Yantav, where over there you're allowed to do it Shloimie hamukif. Taisus Yantav brings a Ramam that says that the Mishnah is talking about b'diavad, even though the chatchilu you can't be mafresh Shloimie hamukif, but if you were mafresh areheim b'cheskes kayamu. Zokt the Mishnah weiter im Avdu. Let's say their taka lost, and those he goes back to the peiros that he thought he was mafresh, and they're not there anymore. So, at what point do you assume that they were Avdu? Were they around b'shas he gave the trumas and maises or not? So the Mishnah says, "Harei choshesh me'etz le'etz." Divrei Elazar ben Shemua. Elazar ben Shemua says that you have to be choshesh me'etz le'etz. So in the Gemara, there are two pshatim in this. The first pshat in the Gemara is Rabbi Yochanan, that it's me'etz le'etz shel b'dika, that we assume just the last 24 hours it was missing, but before that it was good because we're samchinan achazaka. And the other pshat in the Gemara is Reb Elazar ben Antignas, Shloimie Mishna Elazar ben Yanai, that he says that it was, you have to assume fakert, that it was bad the whole time and it was only good Yom Echad, the first day that he had seen it back then. So then for those 24 hours after that, it was good. The Gemara, the Maisa says, not like Reb Elazar ben Shemua in the Mishnah. The Mishnah only sheet in this Mishnah is Reb Elazar ben Shemua. The Gemara says, Chalukin alav chaver of Reb Elazar, that the Rabbanan argue on Reb Elazar ben Shemua, and that's from the Mishnah that says that a mikvah that was measured and it found later that it doesn't have 40 sa. So we assume that all tires that were done on it, l'mafreya, are tameh. So you see that the shita of the Rabbanan is that you don't say chazaka in a case where it was vaday tameh at one point and you're coming to be mitar it. Rather, you say that it's becheskas tameh. So we hear also in our Mishnah that you would assume that it's becheskas tevel and that the truma did not work. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, the Mishnah says a last halacha. That Rabbi Yehuda says b'shloisha prakim b'itkim esayayin, 3 times a year a person has to check his wine to see if it turned into chaymitz, because you can't be Torah min achaymitz al yayin, and those 3 times are b'kadam shel matzoi hachag, when the eastern wind blows on matzoi sukkis, and the Gemara says that's dafka b'tkufas tishrei, when matzoi sukkis is already in the Tishrei Tekufa, meaning the year is split into 4 Tekufas, like 4 seasons, so it's already after the Tekufas Tishrei. The second time that you have to check is by the Hoitzois Smather, which is when the flower falls off the grapevine and you see the little grapes or berries in the Ashkelis. And the third time that you have to check this is Bishas Knisas Mayim Biboiser, when there's wetness in the fruit. Perek Daled Mishnah Aleph Hashaleach Get Leishto V'Yigia B'Shliach Oisheshalach Achar Shliach. When someone sends a shliach to give a get to his wife, and then he decides he doesn't want to give it anymore, so he runs to the shliach and he tells him don't give it anymore, or he sends a shliach afterwards to tell the shliach that he doesn't want to give it to him. He tells him Get Shenesafi Lo Batal Arei Ze Batal. The halacha is that he could be mevatel because it was a shliach lo halacha and it wasn't given yet to the isha. The Mishnah says, Hu adin, that if it was kadam eitzel ishtay, if the Baal went to the wife before the shliach got to the wife, and he tells the wife that I don't want this get to be a get anymore, so he's mevatel l'shlichus, oisha shalach etz la shliach, or he sends a shliach to her to tell her that the get that is going to be given to you is batal. B'amar laket sheshalach telav batal, arezeh batal. The halacha is that it's batal. But the Mishnah says, in mishegia get liyada, if the get already reached her hand, so then she's megureshes. Once she's megureshes, shuveni yachal levatla, he can no longer be mevatel. In the Reisha of the Mishnah, in the 4 cases where he was able to be mevatel the shlichus, let's say he decides afterwards to go ahead and give the get. So the Gemara brings a machlekes. From Nachman says chayzer or megarish, but he was only chayzer for the shlichus. Like the Lashon Gemara is, Nehi the battle the shlichusa the shliach, Gita gufa mika bata, but he wasn't mevatel the get, and therefore you could be chayzer or megarish by, and that's how we pass him. But Reb Shesha says you can't be chayzer or megarish with the get either.